Are arousal and stress the same thing? They are not. But often when I'm making videos here or I'm talking with my clients, I'll say I'm going to use the terms arousal and stress interchangeably. Because usually for the conversations that I'm having with my clients, they can be used interchangeably. And that's because I work with dysregulated dogs. And for dysregulated dogs, because by definition, those dogs have a higher baseline for their stress levels, because they struggle to self-regulate even through positive stress or even through non-stressful arousal, and because they struggle with resilience to stress, we often see that when dysregulated dogs experience arousal, they are also experiencing stress. And so I will often use those terms interchangeably. But when we start to get into the nuances, it's important to know the difference. Arousal describes how awake and responsive you are. Arousal can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be cognitive, and you can have low arousal or high arousal. Stress is a more specific response in response to a challenge or a threat. There's positive stress, eustress. There's negative stress, distress. And it involves high arousal. And it also involves physiological responses like releases of adrenaline and cortisol and emotional responses. So stress is a type of high arousal, but not all arousal is stress. So you could be highly aroused and experiencing joy or curiosity or focus and not be stressed. Arousal is a more broad term, and with arousal, we are talking about activation of the nervous system, but not necessarily the sympathetic nervous system, where with stress, we are specifically talking about activation of the sympathetic nervous system. So stress always involves arousal. Arousal does not always involve stress.